Australia is back on the F1 esports calendar, and we're going to be kicking off the brand new season here for the first time in 2018. And we're going to be doing a full track guide video to sort of show you what I feel, what I see, and how I interpret the track to maximize my potential around this circuit that I love so much. Even before starting the lap, of course, you want to be using up as much road as possible and then getting your DRS wide open down the pit straight. Unfortunately, due to the sensitive nature and competitive nature of F1 esports, I would love to show you what we're doing on the battery, the car setup, the differential, the brake bias, but I can't. Just quite simple, as the other teams will gain an advantage from this and be able to use that information from event 2 onwards. So bear with me, I'm trying my best to sort of share the information I have, but of course I can't share everything as we are still in the middle of the season. So with that being said though, turn 1, you're going to be braking after the 100-meter board and before the 50-meter board as well. This little strip of tarmac on the left hand side is always a nice reference that you can be using to get your car into the braking zone efficiently. Turn 1, again, you have two choices. The ultra high risk, high reward strategy can be cutting the inside as much as possible with 2 wheels on the inside of the grass. The downside of this, of course, if you go on the grass, then you can end up with either snap oversteer on the exit, costing you exit speed, or ending up with understeer and pushing you past the exit curbstone as well, invalidating the lap. So you have to be a bit careful there and understand the risk that you're willing to take to maximize your pace through the first corner here. The low risk and marginally slower approach is to put 2 wheels on the inside curbing, and this will be a bit more simple, and the car will, of course, will not have the grass on the tyres, so then you can predict where the car will be on the exit of the circuit much easier. Big thing to note about this track, the invalidation actually comes from the yellow line, not the white line, so that is a big area that you have to be focusing on when driving this track to make sure you don't pick up small invalidations. Often you pull your car to the right hand side here, but I actually like to keep the car all the way to the left down this straight. Why you want to be avoiding the middle of the road where you can see the white line that separates the left and the right side of the road is the circuit, of course, is a street circuit, what means there's a crown, what basically means the center of the road is higher than the edges, so then the water filters off the track much easier. When you're in the nose camera of the game, you can see a bit easier that the left hand side of the circuit and the right hand side of the circuit is a bit lower than the middle of the track. The reason why that's important, as you cross over the middle of the track, you will end up with a little bit of bottoming from the car, what can be costing you a little bit of top speed. Not much, but in F1 esports, every gain is critical. So I like to bring the car to the left-hand side of the circuit all the way down the straight, so then I'm straighter with my car into the braking zone. And speaking of the braking zone, then we're going to be braking at the black box above the screen right now, and then going down into third gear. The corner has quite a lot of camber in this situation, so you can end up on the inside of the curbstone with the green and the yellow, and it's quite efficient for lap time here in third gear. And then on the exit of the corner, you want to bring your car to the middle of the road, and that can be efficiently setting up the right-hander. Here, what's a sneaky little trick is you can sort of see where the darker patch of the racing line is going to nose camera. You can just about see it as well, but that has so much grip available on it, and you really have to focus to keeping your car on this line going through the corner and avoiding the inside curbstone. Again, just going up to the yellow and the white part of the line, and that can be a really good area to extract the most grip from and open up the corner. Again, on the exit, be careful because the track limits are done by the yellow line, so that is the maximum track width you're going to be looking to use. A little bit sneaky here, but you can gain a little bit of a distance advantage over your rivals by cutting the inside curbing here. It's marginal, but it will save you a few centimeters across the lap, and that can be a few thousandths of a second to gain. A very similar situation to between turn 2 and turn 3 as well. The crown in the middle of the road here is quite prominent, and you can actually see it in this situation in nose camera that the track has a bit of undulations as you go across the middle of this racing circuit. So how you want to predict that as you're going into the corner, keep the car as straight as possible and anticipate the car to have some bottoming out. And then you're going to be just trying to use as much of the track going into the corner as possible, and then your car is actually going to bottom out a little bit in the middle of this corner. The reason for that is you can see we actually go downhill into the apex here, and of course what goes down must go up. So as you get to the mid corner phase of this apex, the track goes back uphill here. You can see it better in nose camera, and now in T camera you can still see the effect of that, what means the car has gone downhill and then rapidly back uphill, what can cause the front axle and the front ride height to scrape across the road, and you'll lose the ground effect of the car. So this is why you can get random spurts of understeer on the exit of this corner, what of course can make it very, very, very difficult to keep it in track limits on the exit here as you go into the back straight. This is pretty simple. You just want to keep the car to the inside and just follow the trajectory of the road, opening up DRS and then flying down here. You want to keep the car to the inside and just try to minimize distance around this apex as much as possible, and then pulling the car to the right hand side for the chicane. This is where you can gain a sneaky advantage over everyone else. You can cut the inside curbing here as much as possible, but you can really cut this outside or inside curbing, I should say, a lot, as long as you have one tire in contact with the racing surface at all times, and you can cut this curbstone a lot. So for example, you can see that we have the front tire back in contact with the surface of the road, even though the rear axle is not in contact anymore, and then vice versa. We're able to keep the rear axle in contact with the road, even though the front axle is not anymore. How that looks from a T-cam perspective, if you almost got the car stuck on the curb there, is it basically looks like this kind of racing line that you're going to be putting basically two wheels just where the tarmac and the curbstone meets on the left hand side, and then you can maximize track width through here. It's a bit cheeky, but you can gain some lap time through here as well. I like to avoid this exit curbing because it's quite brutal, it's quite bumpy, and it can really just cause the car to bottom out and then just lose a bit of top speed as you're coming out of the corner. And in a really bad situation, you can actually bottom out on the exit curbing here, and then it can suck you wide into the gravel, of course costing you lap time, but of course as well giving you an invalidation on the qualifying lap or giving you a track limit warning during the race as well. Coming down into the next apex, you'll be braking at the 50 meter board, even though, to be honest, these meter boards are completely messed up, I think, because there's no way you're braking at 50 meters before this corner. I think basically 100 means 150 and 50 means 100, and then basically the 50 meter board is missing. Roughly where that fire hydrant sign is just about here, or where the tractor is about here, is about 50 meters. Anyway, bit of irrelevant backstory there, but you want to be braking at the 50 meter board and then going down into fourth gear, and then really commit to the inside curbing, getting as close to the red as possible, and then just allowing the car to run wide on the exit, all the way using up the curbstone, again right up to the critical yellow line, and then keeping the car on track on the exit. Completely flat out for the right-hander here in the qualifying session, and depending on your tyre deg, you'll be flat out here in the race. Avoiding the inside curbstone as that can unsettle the car quite a lot. On the exit, just use up as much road as you want, of course trying not to invalidate the lap as well. Pull the car to the right hand side, and then at the 50 meter board you'll be going down into third gear, and then one more time using up the inside curbing, because there's quite a lot of camber in this corner as well, very similar to corner 3, that there's a lot of camber in the corner. You can see the undulation of the track right about here, and then using up that inside curbing can just be free lap time basically, and then you'll be on third on the exit. Short shift to fourth if you need. Just be careful of not shifting to fourth on the entry of the final corner, as that can unsettle the balance of the car, and then just try to keep the car tight on the exit, then open up the DRS, use up all the road, and then running to the start finish line. So we're going to try and do this at speed now, so you can see an example of this as well. If you do an 8 minute lap time with flying. So yeah, you can see down to turn 1, just trying to take as much speed for the entry as possible. Keep the car to the left. Again, that's just the style I like to do, so then my braking zone can be more predictable, more in a straight line. For this corner, down into third gear, let the car on the inside. Short shift to fourth if you do need to. Pick your racing line, then on the exit fifth. 6, minimize the distance through the right-hander, up to 7, straight line, anticipate where you can get the understeer in the middle of the corner. We had a big snap of oversteer there because we touched the inside curbstone. Wow, that was a save and a half. Talk about understeer and get a massive snap oversteer. Anyway, back into the lap, you can see there, just trying to keep the car tight and then just try to minimize the distance with the chicane. Big oversteer as well on this time trial setup, of course, not running the setup that I'll be doing with F1 Esports. Coming down 50-meter board down to fourth gear, I should say, and then going through the right-hander, up into 6, flat out for the right-hander, big twitching from the rear, but just about held it, and you can see through the final apex of the lap, and now into 4th, and just trying to open up the final apex of the lap, and here is a full-speed lap here in Australia. So yes, first race of the calendar, and I'm planning for this video to go up either just before qualifying or just after qualifying, yet to decide. But yeah, it's Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. I'm recording this as I finish my practice for the event, so just trying to do some track guides for you so you can have a bit of insight to what I'm seeing, how drivers are perceiving the track, and hopefully give you more knowledge about F1 esports in the process. That being said, hopefully Australia goes well, and I'll see you for the track guide on China. That should be going up tomorrow.